morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whenever. Welcome to Munro TV. My name is Damien and I will be your captain today on our educational voyage into the unknown. Now, for all you attorneys, actuaries, and industrial psychologists, we developed something especially for you. And if you're none of the above, you may have just clicked on the video by mistake, but that's okay. Stick around and learn with us or go away. In this professionally shot cinematic experience, real sound effects, I'll be unveiling and explaining our brand new IP or industrial psychologist template. We're going to call them IPs from now on. You okay with that? Because I'm okay with that. We envision this template to be incredibly beneficial to each party involved in the typical loss claim information chain. Typical loss claim information chain. Tongue twister. Ooh. Actuary fun can actually be fun. Streamlining the information as it changes hands. So I hear you asking me, Damien, why does this exist? Who needs this? Well, actually, I can't hear you at all. I'm in a booth all by myself. Joke's on you. Anyway, let's look at our key players. The industrial psychologists, so incredibly talented as they are the best and most qualified human beings on the planet Earth to hypothesize probable career progressions. Think of actuaries, on the other hand, as human calculators, having never met the claimant and with absolutely no career progression skill. The accuracy of their work is solely determined by the quality of information they receive. And look, it's not uncommon through information changing hands from one talented mind to the next to become trapped under unnecessary complexity and confusion. This leads to a lot of time consuming back and forth communication, poor turnaround times, and can allow conflict to creep in. We don't want that, and neither do you. Which is why we've gone and developed a new IP template which draws focus on critical pieces of information needed to complete the typical loss claim, presenting the information in a way that is readily understandable by any attorney, any IP, or any actuary. No confusion, no hassle. Pages and pages of raw information and data will become conveniently condensed and tailored to everybody's personal understanding. So before we get started, let's breeze over a couple of the basics for those of you that clicked on this video by mistake. In a typical loss claim, the loss is determined by an uninjured and an injured career progression. The uninjured is how our IP decides the claimant's career would have progressed had the accident never occurred. Maybe he or she was to be president, who knows? I'll tell you for peanuts, the IP knows. Following that, the injured income is how the claimant's career has and will progress now that the accident has happened. In simple terms, our loss of earnings can be derived by subtracting the injured income from the uninjured income. All right, class, now that everybody's caught up and up court, let's get started. So as you can see, I've opened up a brand new, fresh, clean template. I've entered in a couple things just for time's sake, but don't fret, we will cover everything. All right, so let's break it up into bite-sized chunks. Our template is broken up into 4 sections. Section 1 is the claimant's details. Section 2 is the loss story or brief description of the loss. Section 3 are these beautiful tables, and Section 4 are the fringe benefits. We're going to be working through an example today. I'm going to be holding your hand through it. I haven't seen it before. We're going to figure it out together. Can't wait. Okay, so we have a young person by the name of Kelly Simpson, born 26th of October 1989, meeting with the accident unfortunately in June 2013. Gender, don't forget gender. It makes a big difference to the calculation. Can never assume gender these days. It'll get you into a lot of trouble. Moving on, down to the brief description of the loss. Now, this is typically 2 or 3 short sentences just to sort of outline the difference between the uninjured and the injured income, just to describe what the loss pertains to. This is quite a mouthful, so we'll work through it together. But let's go through it. Lost her job 3 months after the accident, but was paid in full until August 2013, but lost overtime. So quite a few things in there. Only managed to secure intermittent lower paying jobs since then. Time, okay, so those 2 refer to the past. These remaining 5 refer to the future. Might take time for treatment, might only be able to find a lower paying job in the future, not expected to reach career potential, might have to retire 5 years early, and then any other uncertainties will be addressed via contingencies. So let's move down to the table. Now, these tables can be attacked in any which way you please. For me, from a logical perspective, it makes sense to deal with what has actually happened since the accident and what will happen because of the accident. I feel like that puts you in quite a strong position to make hypotheses about what would have happened had the accident never occurred. So I will start with the bottom table, the injured table. You can choose whatever you like. Before we get too deep into it, it's important to note these things down here just for ease of information flow. So three very important things in this table that are quite confusing are terms, increases, and then source sort of fact checks these. So terms have to do with the time value of money. A quick example might be if I had 10,000 Rand in 2015 and 10,000 Rand in 2016, the 10,000 Rand in 2015 will be worth more because I could have invested it at that time. And by the time I got to 2016, that 10,000 Rand would be worth more. Increases have to do with two key words, either promotion or progression. Promotion, normally your claimant will experience inflationary increases up until a point of promotion where their income will spike, where a progression is a straight line fashion progression from one point of income to another. Lastly, we have a source, which we can cross-reference the other two. Source is where did this information come from? The claimant, the employer, the payslip, an IRP5, an internet search. Is there no proof? It needs to be in the source. So let's get started. You'll notice that the first date in the date or age column is always the date of accident. Let's pop it in here as well. This is very important because we need to know what happened between the accident and today's date to the future. Nothing can be left out. So we can see that at the time of the accident, this young lady was earning 15,000 Rand per month. We can abbreviate here in 2013 terms. So this earnings were reported in 2013, hence the 2013 terms. She did not experience any increases, and this source is an IRP5. Comment here is sick leave, no benefits. Great. Moving on. So we can see from the last story, she was paid until the end of August 2013. No overtime though. So that means that from September 2013, she was unemployed. The rest of these become irrelevant. The source, however, becomes important. It comes from employer's certificate. So obviously we read on the employer certificate that she lost her job at that point and no further comment. Now, from Jan 2016, she managed to secure employment at 2,000 Rand. Now, notice the difference in frequency per week. It is a reduction from her previous income, but it might be deceiving. These are 2017 terms. Now, why? Well, we'll see by the source. Increases, inflationary, did not receive any promotions, did not progress to a different level of income. This is a payslip source, which means the payslip was dated 2017, hence the terms. Comment, she was a casual worker with no benefits. This is important as well. Now, 2017. Now, the problem with simply putting a year is if you have the exact date, that is far more helpful. Otherwise, we will take an average. So in this example, we will use July, halfway through that year. She suffered unemployment again. This becomes irrelevant, and the source is the claimant herself. No proof, but even that is important to note. Now we're dealing with the future. Our IP hypothesizes that by 2019 or 2020, again not specified, so we'll take the average at January 2020, she will be able to earn 73,000 Rand per year. Notice the change in frequency again. 2018 terms, where do these come from? Well, there are a number of earning sources and references. One that is typically used is the Koch reference, the Quantum Yearbook, published in 2018. That's where these figures are derived from. Our IP says that this person will experience straight line increases I always type that word wrong, but I've done this so many times, I'm becoming such a pro. Semi-skilled, median figure. Finally, by the age of 50, she will be able to earn between 73,000 and 160,000 per year. Now again, using exact figures is better. We will take the average of these two. This is again a 2018 source. I wonder where from. Koch 2018. And inflationary increases until retirement. This is a semi-skilled figure between the median and upper. So now that we have figured out what has and what will happen in reality, we can deal with what would have happened had the accident never affected this young lady's life. So, from the date of accident, our IP hypothesizes that she would have carried on working for 15,000 Rand per month in, we know it already, 2013 terms, but she would have received inflationary increases. So that tells us that there's either a promotion coming up or she's just going to stay on this earnings for the rest of her life, which is unlikely, I think, in this case. So we'll see. This is from an IRP 5 as below, and C, Fringe Benefits. That'll become important later, but not right now. Okay, so by 2015, again, not specified, so we will use July 2015, is envisioned that she will start earning 25,000 Rand per month. So because of the inflationary increases, we can see this was either a promotion or she's envisioned to have got another job. This is a per month figure. In 2017 terms, increases are straight line increases. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Oh, got it right. And the source is the claimant's manager. So this indicates why our terms are 2017 terms. This claimant's manager was obviously contacted in 2017, reporting those earnings in 2017. And as we suspected, this was meant to be a promotion to team leader. And a second important comment is assume same benefits as above, no overtime. Now, it seems to go without saying that had she stayed with the same company, she would have earned the same benefits, but this is not always the case, so it is important to specify. And finally, between the ages of 45 and 50, so again, an average of 47 and a half years old, it is envisioned that our young lady would have been able to progress to an earnings of 422,000 Rand per year. In 2018 terms, we can guess where this came from. A Koch book figure, I'm sure. It is. And in inflationary increases until retirement. This will just specify that this is a Patterson C2 figure, the median. Side note, specify total or basic package figures. That is very important. Now, a piece we've left out here is retirement age. We know that from up here, she will retire 5 years early. Simply in the injured scenario, 5 years early. Oh my goodness, 5 years early. But what is the normal retirement age? Well, a lot of IPs will use 65 or between 60 and 65. We will take an average at 62.5. Now that this table is beautifully complete, we will move on to the fourth and final section of our template, which has become relevant since we can see this woman earned fringe benefits at the time of the accident. Down here, these are a few of your typical fringe benefits. You can see this is a non-exhaustive list. Anything over and above your claimant's basic salary should be listed here. If it becomes too overwhelming, you can send your actuary your payslips. One payslip from each employment is suggested. If your claimant stayed in the same job from the date of accident until today, one payslip from the date of accident and one payslip most recent will suffice. We will be doing a separate video on payslip analysis as well, just to catch you up on that. So we're going to start with pension or provident fund. There is both an employer and an employee contribution. So in our example, The employer contributed a whopping 10% to our claimant's provident fund contribution or pension, where the employee was contributing 7.5%. This is normally found in the deductions tab of the payslip. Medical aid contribution, this is not the contribution that the employee makes, but that the employer makes over and above the basic salary. In our example, R1,000 per month in 2013 terms from our 2013 IRP 5. Overtime, we've mentioned overtime. She lost out on overtime. But at what rate was she earning this? Well, 10% in our example, over and above the basic salary. That's why this equal to becomes important. It's not a portion of the basic salary, it is over and above that. Finally, was there a bonus involved? Yes, she did receive a 13th check every year. And that, my gorgeous friends, is a wrap on our first IP template tutorial video. Does anybody have any questions? Of course you don't. I'm all by myself in this room, hearing voices. Alright, I hope this video was incredibly helpful. If you felt lost and confused, like me in my everyday life, at any point in this video, please do not hesitate to contact us. Let's seal it with a work-appropriate hug. Goodbye.